Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars video. So yesterday was the final day of Disney's D23 Expo, and the big highlight of the day was Lucasfilm animation. Considering on the Friday we'd had major updates for the live action side of things, as Star Wars fans we were waiting with bated breath for news of the next animated show following the Bad Batch Season 3. Unfortunately though my dear friends, the panel ended with no update on what's coming up. This is rather puzzling. The panel was a retrospective at what Star Wars accomplished with the Clone Wars, Rebels, Tales of the Jedi, and more, with special guest Vanessa Marshall, the voice actress of Hera Syndulla. While the panel was certainly a fitting tribute and look back, it's devastating to not get an update on the future of Star Wars animation, considering the next time we're going to get news on this is likely a whole year away. I predict Lucasfilm is waiting for Star Wars Celebration in Japan next April to showcase the next animated project. By then they should have some actual footage in place, and this isn't limited to just animation. The same can be said about live action projects, which are definitely coming up, which didn't even get a mention, like the Rey movie, which alongside The Mandalorian and Grogu is also slated for 2026. And like I said, it's all about not having footage because the Rey movie's not even begun production, whereas The Mandalorian and Grogu's been in production for over a month. Lucasfilm might be waiting for Celebration, which to be fair is a much bigger and more Star Wars-centric event. Nonetheless, Vanessa Marshall does tease there is more animation to come, and I predict, alongside the next long-form animated series, they're going to announce the next Tales of season. We had Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Empire. Is it going to be Tales of the Sith? Theories on the next long-form show range from the adventures of Captain Rex to Morris Ventress and a grown-up Omega, and I recently shared an update where there is evidence something of an Asajj Ventress project is in the works. In the case of this year's D23, it was mainly about Skeleton Crew and All Season 2 and The Mandalorian and Grogu. All projects there is footage for, but when it came to the Sean Levy movie, the Rey movie, and the next animated series, while those are in the works, there was nothing to showcase. They didn't use the Lucasfilm panel to announce anything we didn't know about, anything new, and the recurring sentiment I keep seeing is that fans are very disappointed about this, especially when you take into account 2 of the trailers were just for those in attendance. And by the way my dear friends, I've broken down both of those, go back and check them out. But I should say my dear friends, there is no need to fret, no need to worry because we know Star Wars animation is very much alive, and there is more to come. Even though the Lucasfilm Animation Vice President didn't say anything about a Clone Rebellion show or teasing what's coming next, we know there were job listings a few months ago, so there are people in place to make the next show happen, whenever that is going to be. And considering how strong the stories coming out of Lucasfilm Animation have been in recent years, I would say let them cook. Give them time, let them get it right. But the sentiment was also reflected by Dave Filoni at Star Wars Celebration. Back in April of last year in London, he said when the Bad Batch comes to an end, which it has done, there is going to be more. Tales of the Jedi Season 2, which I think is separate to Tales of the Empire, and I would predict continuing the story of Omega. I know the popular fan desire is to have more Captain Rex between the Bad Batch and Rebels, but if we really look at it for what it is, that show has 2 principal aims: to show us why Captain Rex gives up, and why he retires on Sealos with Gregor and Wolf, and the second point is to show us what happens to Echo. We know Hunter, Crosshair and Wrecker are retired, Tech died in Season 2, but we don't know what happens to Echo. So those are the primary questions we need to see answered, because Rebel Season 2 already told us that the reason Captain Rex did retire was the realization the scope of the Empire was too big. His days of being a soldier were done. So like I say guys, Star Wars Celebration Japan, April 18th to April 20th of 2025. That's going to be the next time I think Lucasfilm is going to announce their next slate and actually give us some footage. And if D23 this year taught us anything, it's that Lucasfilm is looking to slow down, announcing upcoming content. They're focusing on what's already in development, or definitely in production. And I guess that's a good thing. Overpromising has been an issue in the past. It's a good sign they're learning from previous mistakes. They're just focusing on what's definitely coming up. So fingers crossed, there is an update coming soon. I predict they're gonna drop the animated show after Andor Season 2, sometime mid-2025. But moving on my dear friends. At D23 they released the official trailer for the new LEGO special Rebuild the Galaxy, and I noticed a couple of very interesting things. It was awesome to see Darth Jar Jar, Darkside Rey, Darkside Kit Fisto, and there was even an interesting callback to Narkina 5. You had Yoda, Mace Windu, Mon Mothma, Beru, all dressed up as prisoners from Narkina 5. But I also noticed Mark Hamill is back to voice Luke Skywalker, and in case you don't know, this special is all about a kid from the known Star Wars universe. He reminisces about how the story of the Skywalker saga is one of the most legendary ever told, but he finds this cornerstone and everything goes wrong. The galaxy basically turns inside out. Admiral Akbar as clones, New Republic AT-ATs, good guys are the bad guys are the good guys, and amongst one of these changes is Luke Skywalker, who's more like a smuggler and not the hero of the galaxy which the protagonist knows him to be. And what's pretty remarkable is that in the trailer we see a scene where Sig goes up to Luke and tells him all about the version of events of the Skywalker saga, and basically Lucasfilm takes the mickey out of the sequel trilogy by having Mark Hamill as Luke, or Lego Luke, recite back the events of episodes 4 to 9, but really it's episodes 7 to 9 in this case, and they make it sound like it's ridiculous. Luke trying to kill his nephew, isolating on an island after being the hero of the galaxy, and it's almost tongue-in-cheek Lucasfilm acknowledging criticisms of the sequel trilogy, which I never thought they'd do. That really did surprise me, I did not expect it. And did you know, and here's the big one, Kelly Marie Tran is returning as Rose Tico. Regardless of my thoughts of how the sequel trilogy went down, the mistakes Lucasfilm made, the creative choices of J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson, and the fact it was very disorganized from the word go, I'm honestly so happy to see her back, because we know she went through a rough time, and the fact it's being done in a light-hearted, silly manner in this LEGO special just makes it pretty heartwarming. And I know this is Kelly Marie Tran's 4th LEGO special voicing Rose, but it's great to see she's still involved. She's a very kind person, and you know, like I say, I'm not the biggest fan of the sequel trilogy, but her love for Star Wars is undeniable and I think Rose deserved better. So I don't really cover the LEGO specials on my channel too much, but I thought this one is definitely more serious than the last one, Summer Vacation, and you can definitely tell more effort went into the writing. They got some huge names for the voices, and to be honest, it looks really fun. I actually can't wait to see it. I was kind of on the fence. I saw the LEGO sets for it and I thought, well, they don't have too much context. It's cool to see Jedi Bob return. You know, he was a minifigure from 2002 and they decided to throw him in this. But I didn't realize that despite the LEGO format, they really are going for a Star Wars what if and exploring multiple possibilities. Not to mention Luke. Had he never met Obi-Wan Kenobi? Had he never gone on that journey to become a Jedi? Which, by the way, in case you didn't know, is something they touch upon in the prologue of The Last Jedi novelization expanded edition. Luke Skywalker, reflecting from Arcto, dreams about a different timeline where he married Kemi Mastrap and never left Tatooine. So this special is definitely doing some interesting things with the characters, and even though it's under the guise of a fun, kid-friendly, family-friendly LEGO special, I think it's worth paying attention to the subtle themes, what Lucasfilm is really trying to say with it.